Now, Minecraft names are important. It's something every player has and they're unique to each player. When you join a server, it's often what people identify you with. In this video, I'm just going to be talking about how names work and why they might be considered rare or desirable. Enjoy. The first thing I want to talk about is just the definition of what a name is and what it can contain. So the length of a name can be anywhere from 3 to 16 characters, bar a couple exceptions I'm going to talk about later, and the characters they can contain are all the numbers 0 to 9 and the whole alphabet and an underscore, and that's it. Letters can be either capital or lowercase, and they count as the same name. So if you say have the name ABC in lowercase, that's considered the same as A, capital B, C. However, in earlier versions of the game, in about 2011, you could actually have a name that was 1 or 2 characters long, and I'm going to be talking in more detail about them later in the video. When you make your Minecraft account, you're given the option to select a username, provided that no one else has taken that name. You also have the ability to change your name, although you can only do this every 30 days. When a player changes their name, their old name becomes available 37 days after the change, meaning it's possible to view a countdown for when a name will become available. However, this cooldown is only 30 days for the person who changed their name, meaning that they have an extra 7 days to claim their name back before anyone else can take it. But now I'm going to be getting on to the bulk of the video, and that is what makes a name rare or desirable or valuable. So when you want to find out how rare a name is, the first thing you want to look at is its length. A general rule is the shorter the name, the more rare it is, and that's just because mathematically there are less combinations of characters in that given length. So for any length, n, to find the number of combinations for that, you'll do 37 to the n, and that's because there are 37 different characters that you can have in a Minecraft name. This means if we have a name of length 1, there are 37 different combinations. If we have a name of length 2, there are 1,369 combinations, and for 3 we have 50,653, and this continues up to 16. But you might be arguing that a name cannot be rarer than any other name, because only one person can have it, as I've already said. And that's where the desirability comes into the equation. Even though all the names are equally rare, some of them are just inherently more desirable than other names. For example, having a 16 character long name of just random numbers and letters is a lot less desirable than having the name Cad, even though only one person can have each of those two names. A quick point I want to mention is something called character set, and that is just a list of all the characters involved in a name. And in general, the shorter this set is, the better the name. So if you have a name made of numbers, letters and underscores, it's often less valuable than one made of just letters, just numbers or just underscores, which is very rare. The value is also affected by how close these characters are together if you arrange them in alphabetical or numerical order. Say if you have the name 2828, that's worse than 7878 because 2 and 8 are further apart than 7 and 8. The next thing to talk about is the appearance and the capitalization of a name. Now a name is something people see and they read all the time if they see your character in game. This means that how it looks is incredibly important. Of course, it's quite difficult to come up with a formula to define how nice a name looks, but in general it should be easy to read, easy to remember, and sort of pleasing on the eye. I'll put some examples on screen now on what may be considered a pleasing name and an ugly name. A name can also change appearance depending on what letters in it are capitalized. In general, if you're going for a word for a name, then having the first letter capitalized only is a good idea. But if it's an abbreviation like ATM or DVD, then it should be all capitalized. Some other things that may affect the value of a name if it's a word is how often it's used, its frequency, and the meaning of the word. The higher the frequency of the word, the better. Say, if it's a word that people use every day in conversation, it has more value, and if it's a word that's only said about once every day around the whole world, it obviously has less value. And with the meaning, if it's something quite powerful or relevant to the game, then it has more value, and if it doesn't really mean anything relevant or something that's not very impressive, it may have less value. Another thing that may affect the value of a Minecraft name is its relevance to Minecraft itself. Say if a word comes up in Minecraft conversation more than in everyday conversation, it will increase the value of the name because it's a name in Minecraft. For example, the name damage or health or sword or player come up more in Minecraft chat than they do in real chat, so they have more desirability and more value. The final criteria of rarity I'm going to talk about is the equivalent rarity, and this basically means that a name doesn't have to be the same, but it needs to have similarities or be the same sort of type of word or name as the other ones in the same group as it. So its desirability will be a combination of how important or desirable that group is and how many names are able to fit into that group. For example, 3 names could be a category, which is just a name that is 3 characters long. There's, as I said earlier, there's about 50,000 of them available, and they're quite desirable, and there's only 50,000 of them, so they're quite valuable. There's also names that are 4 characters, which are just numbers. There's only 10,000 of them, but they're slightly less wanted. So even though there's less, there's not as much demand for them. There's actually still some available, even though there's only 10,000 of them. So if you want to change your name to a 4-number name, you can do that. Just try a couple combinations, and after not too long, you'll find a free one, and you can take it. And I really suggest doing that because, as I said, there are 10,000 of them, and after 200 million sales of Minecraft, it's quite a thing to have that under your name. The final thing I want to talk about is invalid names, or names that can no longer be created anymore. As I said earlier, the current name boundary for names is between 3 and 16 characters and can only contain alphabetical characters, numbers, and an underscore. However, in earlier versions of the games, this wasn't true, and you could actually create names with a single character or special characters, for example, a $sign in. This of course means that the first people who were able to create these names did, and for that reason, a couple accounts with 1 character in their name exist, and quite a few with only 2 do. Surprisingly, not every combination of 1 character or 2 character names exists, and this is just because people wouldn't know how valuable they would become in the future. This means that 1 or 2 character names are incredibly scarce, and for that reason, very valuable. Now, I managed to get an interview with the VI, the 2 character, but unfortunately my side of the audio didn't record, which I guess is better than his not recording, but yeah, here it is.
Alright, how did I get my name? Well, it was possible in 2009 and 2010, pre-alpha, pre-beta. Basically, they didn't have a min character limit, so you could choose like any combination of letters and go above the cap, use special characters, stuff like that. So a lot of cool names were made, but it's also where like 2 characters came from, so yeah. I have the perfect answer for this question. So it's basically like being a YouTuber, in the sense that, like, you know, people will call out my name in chat, they'll see it on tab, and they'll be like, oh, VI, 2 letters, you know. They'll ask for screenshots, sometimes they'll get like free loot on like certain servers. So overall, it's actually a really cool experience. Although, on the other hand, sometimes the servers don't allow 2 character names. For a few popular South American servers, there's actually a restriction. I can't even log on to their servers. I can't play, so they just block me from joining. I would not consider selling it. I really enjoy playing on this account. They're becoming more rare as more, like, you know, name change stuff. Yeah, that too. They get locked. A bunch of stuff happens. Anyways, I would not sell it. Exactly. I have a lot of friends that know me by this name, so it'd be unfortunate if I was to lose that. I have gotten a few tempting offers. The highest was for 8K. Oh, of course. I'll get like the people that hate, and you know, there's always haters, but you know, like, why didn't you get a different name or stuff like that? And then there's like people who try to take screenshots and stuff. And they always ask the same question. How did you get a 2-letter name? And I always give a different answer because I like to have fun with it. The old Dad Works for Mojang is a great one, all reliable. Yeah, I hacked Mojang. It's another fun one. Yeah, no worries. No worries. Peace.
So a huge thanks again to VI for taking the time and just donating his time basically to be on the video. But yeah, thank you for watching very much, and have a good day.